Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to show you guys how I am going to make my dandelion soap. So I've already got my oil that I've infused with the dandelions, with the dandelion green, so it turned into this beautiful yellowish color, which is kind of really nice. And then I've got my dried dandelion flowers. I already cut them up. They've been drying for a couple weeks. So this is what I'm going to add into my soap. It's going to add a little bit of color and also a little bit of exfoliation as well. Now when you make a natural soap, you do have to work with lye. I've already got my lye water here, and I've got my lye that I've already added into my water. I'm checking it, making sure everything is dissolved, and it's been cooling off for a little bit. And I'm kind of happy with how that looks. I will be doing a heat transfer method where my hot lye water solution will be melting my relatively solid oils. I mean, my house is really warm today, so my oils are not quite as solid as they normally would be. So that's what I'm doing today. And then we are going to scent this soap with a lemongrass essential oil. I like using Crafty Bubbles fragrances and their essential oils. It just smells really good. I'm just going to go ahead and just add just a little bit in here. I decided I wanted to add my essential oil into my soap oils first, because sometimes what happens is the essential oil will cause the soap to seize, which then you have one big solid lump of soap. So this way, if I mix in my essential oil, get it kind of diluted with my soap oils, then by the time I add in my lye water solution, which is over here cooling, then hopefully I'll reduce that reaction of having a seize. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just add in a little bit of my dandelion blooms. I'm going to take my whisk, just kind of get it in there. I probably should have took my spatula out of there first, but I'm kind of a dork like that, so I do funny things. If you guys ever watch some of my other YouTube channels, you'd know for a fact. Alright, that's looking kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and add my lye water to this. And I will be adding my milk as well. That just kind of cleared right up, didn't it? Melted right down. And by the looks of it, I can tell I definitely do want to add in more of my blossoms. I don't want to add too much, but I do want to get it all in there. And make sure when you are working with lye that you wear safety precautions, safety gear, put your hair back in a net, in a hat, whatever you do. Make sure everything is really clean. Alrighty. So now I'm going to go ahead and add in my milk. Gonna stir that around. I like kind of mixing by hand every once in a while because you can get everything incorporated without over tracing your soap, and because this is a hard oil, this does like to get solid quickly. Go ahead and burp my blender, make sure all the air bubbles are out of it. And you can tell there's a little bit of oil sitting on the very top. So I'm going to just stir it by hand. Make sure everything mixes in. I don't want to have soap and then my oils separate, because that's not good. That looks fairly good. I'm going to go ahead and set my blender off to the side here a moment. I think what I'm going to do is add the rest of my blossoms in there. Hand mix it, stir it, stir it. There, I really like how that's looking. Okay, so this should be really cool in a soap. We'll get to the unmolding process too a little bit later. Gonna burp my blender. Careful, make sure there's no splashes. And it's starting to get thick really quick. So I gotta go ahead and pour this into my soap molds. Pushing all that stuff aside. Got my soap molds ready. I'm just gonna go ahead and start pouring. Sometimes my molds don't like to stay flat. Alright, so as soon as I get this completely all poured, I'll get it cleaned up, take my scraper tool and kind of scrape the excess off the tops. Make sure everything is all balanced like it needs to be. And then I'll set this aside and we'll be back in about 4 or 5 hours when this is completely set up, and we'll go for the unmolding. It has been about 6 or so hours since the soap has been just setting up. It is now solid to the touch. I can go ahead and unmold my soap. So here's a little bit of an end piece that's just kind of left over. I can actually use this if I want to, but I don't have to. I just keep these. But they also work really well if I end up having bubbles in my soap, which I've got some air pockets there. So I can actually melt some of these corners down and use this end piece to fill in those holes, and that will make it just right. So these turned out really good. They smell wonderful. I'm gonna go ahead and unmold some of these others. That's got a little hole in it too in the corner, but I'm really liking how this is looking. It just kind of got a little thick towards the end, so that kind of leads to those air bubbles stuff. That looks great. I'm going to go ahead and set these aside so they are going to cure for about 4 weeks or so before they will be up for sale. And if you are interested in these, you can go onto my Facebook page and under the same name, Basic Homesteading and Survival, and purchase these soaps for yourself if you would like them. And these just look lovely. Just have that beautiful little speckling through there. It's just nice. These have some wonderful benefits for the skin as well. You can further do some research on that if you'd like to. It's really up to you. Always do your own research and never just take someone else's feedback, because you never know who's really actually done the research from credited sources or not. At least that's what I like to do. Makes things a little easier, less complicated. So in 4 weeks we will have these up for sale. These look really wonderful. And if you like this video, you can come back for more tips and tricks later on. And if you do want to see how I did the infusion for these soap bars for the oil, I do have that video also up on YouTube, so be sure to check that out too. If you'd like to, it's up to you. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Have a good one. Be safe out there. And again, as always, if you like what you see, come back for more tips and tricks later on. Bye now.